ProBuild Systems, up in this mother.
You're live.
Yes.
The blue light's on.
All right. Like to welcome you guys to the Power On Tech Show. Today we have church. We're talking about the Oculus Rift. If you were watching the stream a few minutes ago, that did get corrupted. So we're starting again because this is going to YouTube. So I'd like to welcome you guys. Oculus Rift. So basically we're going to be talking about the Oculus Rift and its competitors and other versions and iterations of the Oculus Rift. So I'd like to... I introduced Church to the Oculus Rift today. He had never used one before.
Yeah, never used any VR. Not even like, not even old school VR, like a Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy?
No, never had my face like, because the legs always broke off, right? The stand was really bad, so I never had my face like pressed up against a desk playing a Virtual Boy.
What's that disorder you get with the neck? It's like not cirrhosis, but scoliosis.
Oh, yeah, that's your spine curves. Yeah.
So that's Virtual Boy syndrome.
Okay. Yeah. No, I've never used any kind of VR before. And I was a little concerned about motion sickness because, like, when I was a little kid, watching my dad play Wolfenstein 3D, gave me serious motion sickness. Like, I've thrown up before.
That was a really jarring experience.
I think, him playing Doom, too, I think it was because of the old school,
footsteps.
the running, like, it bobbed you, and I think that might have done it for me.
Yeah.
But, I didn't get motion sick. I got a little weird towards the end of it, but that was probably like,
Did you have the Meteor game?
5 or no, that was the Meteor game was fine.
That's the one. Like, I put Liz into that Meteor game, and she was almost immediately motion sick because it moves fast, and you got to move your head around a lot. So
yeah, I think if I was standing up, it would have been a lot worse because I would have probably bashed my head on something. But I don't know if the motion sickness would have been any worse. So
yeah,
it's hard to say.
So one of our viewers had asked, what would you rate the Oculus out of a 10 as far as like its execution and stuff?
It's obviously not perfect because it's not a consumer product. It's it is a development kit. It was pretty cool. Man, it's just I don't know. A lot of factors going into it. If I just from the experience alone, not considering price or competition or anything like that, I'd probably give it like a 7 or 8.
That's funny. I gave it a 7, and Adam gave it a 7 or 8 as well.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a good experience. I could see how it would be a cool thing to have around and to do, but I don't know if it'd be like. Definitely not this iteration. Wouldn't be a daily driver kind of thing.
Right. That was one of my issues with it, and I don't think I've seen the next the release candidate, and it's not different enough from this one for me to say that one would be a daily driver either.
Is the pixel density any higher or like?
No.
So it's still like a 1440p screen, so two 720s in like a weird orientation.
The next version from this one is I don't know if they're gonna plan on doing anything with that.
Well, what they were using like the Galaxy
Note.
S4 screen or Note?
I think it's a
Note 3?
Note 3.
Okay.
This one.
All right.
That's why I personally think the Gear VR has the potential, if executed, to be a better device.
Yeah.
Because you think of you compare.
Well, Facebook doesn't own screen technology, really.
Right.
Like they own Oculus now, and so the Oculus is a Facebook company. Which people were really concerned about, but they shouldn't be because it's just like venture capitalism, whatever.
Yeah. Companies buying companies.
Yeah, sure. So, they don't own screen technologies, and Samsung does. Now, Samsung also is not great. They haven't been known to be awesome with software.
Yeah.
They create a lot of interesting user interface kind of things, but
right. The Galaxy is I've personally. As far as the hardware is concerned, on paper, the Galaxies look like great phones.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic hardware, right.
But the execution as far as, their software integration with the Android operating system has been consistently worse than all of their competitors at each price point.
Yeah. Well, it's... I guess it's the same kind of thing with Apple, and, their hardware is always pretty good. I mean, they've skimped on battery recently, and that's always kind of been like the Android selling point. Is like, oh, we can get like a whole 2 days off a battery if we wanted to. But I mean, Samsung is trying to do the thing where they make a cohesive kind of environment for you to just have a bunch of different Samsung products. You have your Samsung TV, and you have your Samsung phone, and your Samsung washer dryer. Your Samsung, like everything is connected.
Yeah.
And I mean that's what they're a conglomerate for a reason.
The Samsung ecosystem.
Right. They want to have you within that entire ecosystem.
Right.
And that's why they do the things they do as far as apps and interface and stuff. Yeah. But it also, as a standalone experience, isn't that great because of it. So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've owned plenty of Samsung devices, including a Samsung washer, which broke after a short period.
Yeah. Isn't one of the ones? Don't you have
No, I got the really nice, like, Kenmore.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as far as VR goes, like I think they have a good chance of like having a good VR headset. I mean, obviously they got the screen technology, which will be the big thing, and I'm sure that once consumers get their hands on a screen or a VR, they're going to hack it up. They're gonna figure out its ins and outs. They're gonna write new firmwares. They're gonna do a bunch of different things. Yeah. So that's my take so far.
Interruptions are interrupting.
Yeah, so the live stream wouldn't be fun without it. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, my my take on the Gear VR is I don't own a Note 4, so I don't really have a Gear VR. But if you used something like the game streaming technology from a Shield, or even like the PlayStation has done similar game streaming technology, something like that.
Yeah, with the PSP and stuff. Yeah.
So if you take that idea, and if you're thinking of the Oculus as a game-centric ecosystem, and you can stream from a powerful computer to a completely untethered device like the Gear VR,
yeah, that'd be pretty neat.
That would be the best VR headset you can get.
Yeah.
An untethered device that uses the capability of a computer, which all the VRs are using a computer.
Right. Yeah.
So that'd be like the holy grail. But right now you have something like this, which is tethered and heavy. The downsides on this thing is you feel very encumbered by it after just a few minutes. And every time someone takes it off, they have the Oculus like raccoon eyebrow like eye print. So
well, I guess the other thing is, and really this is kind of been like the PC performance deal anyway, is like for this to feel good in your face, to feel good in your eyes, you're gonna need high refresh rates, right? And a lot of this streaming technology, they can't do that. They like the max they can get is like 60 frames per second, and that's if it's good,
Right. For me, the reason I didn't give it a higher score than a 7 is it's not better than a monitor. That's my issue with it.
The experience is definitely different. It's nice,
right,
in certain ways.
Right, you can get more information in the 360 degrees, but you would never take this if you had a monitor in one hand and this in the other, and you can only use one.
Yeah.
You'd never take this over a monitor. You wouldn't replace your monitor with it. It's not there yet.
Right.
So that's my I wish it was. I wish that you could have an Oculus, sit down, and just have a keyboard and mouse and an Oculus.
When you were playing Elite Dangerous before, did you have VSync on?
Yes.
Okay, we should mess around with it a little bit, because I think this panel supports like 90 hertz or something like that.
It also turned VSync off.
What's that?
It also turned VSync off.
It should.
Yeah.
We should mess with the settings, because if we can get it to run Elite Dangerous at like 90 frames, 180 frames, something like that, and I know your 980 can do it.
Right.
Then it might actually look a little better.
Yeah.
And we could probably honestly use some of the NVIDIA technology, the MFAA, I think is what it's called, where they make or MSAA, multi-sampling, anti-aliasing, where they take the like a slightly larger picture and then compress it down, because it'll actually smooth out some of the edges too. So we should probably do a little more mess around with. This is like we're not going to mess around with it.
Right, yeah,
But
absolutely.
we should look into that kind of stuff because that would actually be interesting to see how it works.
Like
that
things
way.
we can do on the software side to improve the general performance.
Yeah, yeah. I
of,
mean,
like of it as it is.
so
Yes, this is an Oculus Rift. And thank you, VG Professor. We had a viewer who said that this is informative and not over opinioned.
yeah. I mean,
Basically, it's our aim just to kind of bring the talking points all together to one.
right. We want the
thing
best
and not-
technology.
Right.
We want it to be available for people.
Yeah.
Well, whether it be Oculus or Samsung or Sony.
Morpheus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or some other third party, or maybe
What's-
there's a Kickstarter tomorrow that
Yeah.
makes it out of the
What's
bottomless pit.
The Valve one called? I can't
I don't know. Half-Life 3 probably.
Half-Life 3 VR.
Yeah.
Confirmed VR.
yeah,
Confirmed VR.
Source 2.3 VR Lost Coast. I don't know. I can't remember what the Valve one is called, but
I've only ever seen it once.
well, I mean, we know that Valve isn't doing like fantastic on the hardware side of things either.
Right. The only thing is that they solved the screen tearing issue before Oculus did, but their product isn't in the hands of everybody. So.
The other thing with the screen tearing is FreeSync is now available.
Yeah.
So if you could make a FreeSync version of a screen that'll go in there, which shouldn't be that hard. I mean,
Right.
maybe the modules. I can't. FreeSync is software based, right?
Yep.
So if you could do FreeSync in these screens, then it wouldn't matter at all.
Yeah. That's true.
So that fixes the problem without having to mess around with
So if
the
you're
hardware too much,
unfamiliar with what FreeSync is, it's a variable refresh rate technology. AMD and Intel both have their own individual versions of it. AMD made a version that doesn't require a physical module to be installed in the monitors.
NVIDIA made G-Sync, which is
Right.
proprietary. FreeSync is open source as far as I'm
Correct.
aware.
Hence the FreeSync.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. The
Right.
AMD one doesn't require a module to be installed.
Yeah.
The NVIDIA one requires a module to be installed in the monitors,
Mm-hmm.
which there's a few monitors on both sides. The G-Sync and the FreeSync side, they both have monitors on the market now.
Yeah.
And basically what it does is it almost completely prevents screen tearing. Almost. They claim that it basically prevents screen tearing completely, but obviously we've seen
Right, I think
examples
I
of both
think they
of them.
want it to be higher than 40 frames per second, though. Still, because
Right.
I mean, you're not getting a great experience, like really under 60. So, yeah, but FreeSync would be awesome with these kind of headsets, and I think that's as more of these technologies, DirectX 12, Mantle gets a little bit more fleshed out. FreeSync, we can get some better panels, better pixel density, stuff like that. It's going to make these VR headsets way better.
Right.
And the ones that are going to be good are the ones that are going to have these kind of technologies built into them.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you could take something like this and start integrating the other companies' free technologies like
Right.
FreeSync and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that's a simple thing that, I mean, they struggled for a long time
Right,
just
with
to
tearing,
solve
yeah.
screen tearing.
Uh-huh.
If AMD had made that software available earlier and they
Yeah.
just integrated that type of thing, they could
Well-
have spent a lot more time developing more features.
The awesome thing, and
You know?
I don't want to like hype up stuff too much, is that like Star Citizen and AMD are very closely married. I think he was when they launched the Hawaii Islands cards last year. They had him as a guest speaker, the Star Citizen guy. With isn't he one of your favorite people?
Oh, no, I like the Tabula Rasa guy.
Oh, okay.
But,
But-
Star Citizen is Chris Roberts.
Okay.
Roberts Space Industries is the name of the...
Yeah. Okay. So they had him as a speaker at their launch party thing.
I got from the AMD partnership, I got a special Star Citizen AMD Radeon ship.
Nice.
It's the XFX ship.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
It's got like AMD branding on the wings and stuff. It's really funny. But
Yeah.
that's one of the things they gave to us.
Yeah, but Star Citizen and
Everyone compliments the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
So Star Citizen and AMD are really buddy-buddy, and if that's the case, then that means, FreeSync, Mantle, all going to be there, and then they want VR.
Right.
If that's the VR game to support, if that's what's going to sell your headsets, because those Star Citizen guys are nuts about
Right.
Star Citizen. They're spending
Absolutely. I mean,
thousands of dollars
on ships that are destroyable.
Right.
You got to remember that the ships in Star Citizen
on a
people
game
don't
that
realize
doesn't
this.
exist really yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to me.
So those guys are going to be the guys who are going to buy these kind of headsets, and yeah, I think that's definitely, you know, a really promising outlook for VR is the games that are going to really benefit from these things.
Yeah. Someone says they've seen us in something other than the stream. I don't know if you've seen either our YouTube channel, which is Pro Build Systems, or we've been in like a couple Tobuscus things too, and other people's. If you're big in YouTube videos, we've been in other people's YouTube stuff. Just variable people. We build YouTube or computers for YouTubers
And normal folks too.
and normal people. Yes, we
Yeah.
do that too.
We were in a Tobuscus Vine once, dude. It was
Yeah, dude,
it was great.
that was really funny.
Yeah, but VR is neat. Like still Oculus 7 or 8 out of 10. It's cool. Definitely need to mess around with the settings more. I think that NVIDIA stuff will be actually pretty cool, and we should probably work on that. So
That's an important thing to note that this Oculus.
oh god, Liz is on my computer. Oh no,
One guy with the, but we both.
Liz, please.
Yeah. So it's important to note that Oculus, they still do call it Development Kit 2, and it is not super user friendly. Like right out of the box, it doesn't just play games. You got to download a runtime environment, and it is buggy and stuff like that. So be advised, it's still not a consumer product. Definitely not. And they're clear to say that by not calling it a consumer product, even though they do make it easy for you to get by just buying it on their website. So that's important information.
Yeah.
I am interested to see, and people have been comparing the HoloLens to the Oculus, and it's important to know the difference between augmented reality, where you can see through the headset like the HoloLens, and virtual reality, where it is a
Completely replaces it.
right.
Yeah.
This replaces your existence with this.
Yeah, I mean the HoloLens is cool. I don't know what Microsoft's timeline is on that, and that's a completely different subject altogether.
What I've seen is 2 years.
It'd be
This
impressive
guy-
if it was.
One of our viewers said that he wants a PC so bad he doesn't trust himself to build one,
Yeah,
even though people say it's easy.
I mean, it can be daunting if
Yeah.
you're just getting into it. Also, if you're not like super like inclined to that kind of stuff,
Right.
it can be daunting too. Like there's things that can go wrong.
They've made it simpler to build computers,
Right.
but at the same time to build a computer that is like supremely efficient and is going to like all the parts are going to synergize well. That's why people like us exist.
Yeah.
Basically. So
But
I don't know if you've seen our site. Our computers they're not ridiculous. We have there's one on our site called the Sweet Spot. It's on the homepage. Basically, that's like the sweet spot for people's budget. It's kind of
well, I mean, it's a kind of a specific budget, but
yeah.
so. But I mean, what's the next step for VR? Just better screen technology, or is it
I mean,
is it a combination of like game optimization?
I think
Or-
to bring it home, besides stuff like Star Citizen, you need Steam and other like online e-tailers to get behind, like making a section, publicizing it, publishing it, like because honestly, the Oculus in its state right now, it wouldn't hurt it to have a Steam section dedicated to it, where
That's
people
true.
could make, develop, sell, and disseminate games for virtual reality.
Yeah,
Like honestly, the Oculus could have an overnight success if Steam just had a VR section and then
Right.
it just said which headsets. But I don't see Steam doing that because they're building their own headset.
right. And
That's kind of,
that's kind of the way it went with Linux too. Like if you look for a Linux game on Steam, it's SteamOS/Linux.
Yes, because they have their own platform.
Right. Even though it's not official, it's it's still in beta. You can't buy a Steam machine. Like, the only way you can get Steam OS is to install it on your own and, like, service it yourself. But they still have Steam OS /Linux when, you know, it's essentially a Linux machine, and you're looking for Linux games. You know, you could be on Ubuntu or Debian or, like, you know, I don't know, Red Hat or you know, Mint or something. I don't know. You could be on a bunch of different Linux distros, but you're looking for Steam games for Linux. Then you're looking on Steam OS lists, which is it's just funny.
A guy asked, what's our opinion on the Xbox versus the PlayStation 4?
I mean, I don't know. They're both keeping AMD alive, which is nice. I appreciate them both for that.
That is a fair point. Honestly, my only, like, I have both a PS4 and an Xbox, and I'll play games, like, any exclusives on either one of them. But my issue with consoles in their current state is every time I want to play a game on either my Xbox or my PS4, I'm like, okay, I want to play this game. Update is required. God damn it. Then I gotta wait for a long period of time for this update to install and initialize, and then I'm ready to play. And half the time, be it the Xbox Marketplace or the PlayStation Now, or PlayStation, whatever the fuck they call it now, both those things have intermittent uptimes and downtimes, and the PlayStation keeps getting hacked, and the Xbox One, just their network connectivity is not particularly great. So, like, I had a friend over, like, let's play a game, Master Chief Collection. Didn't work. Alright, well, let's play Last of Us multiplayer on the PlayStation 4. Didn't work. So, honestly, I don't feel as though either of their ecosystems are very well kept up at the moment. Like, I don't feel like next gen is a term that should apply to either of these.
Well, it's current gen now. I mean,
but they still call everything on
I
the
know,
next gen.
I know.
It's kind of a
it's funky.
But,
I don't know. I'm not much of a console guy. The last console I owned was a 360, and I owned it because it was cheap, and I wanted to play a UFC game, and that was the only, like, that was the system to get it on. So, like, I couldn't play it on PC. I wish it would come out on PC. I mean, they've released a lot more sports games on PC, and I know sports games is kind of like a taboo kind of, like, thing to talk about. I would
call it a niche market.
Well, I mean, like, you get your normal PC gamer, and then you've got the guys who are either, like, FPS guys, you got your MMO guys, you got the RTS guys, and then you've got the MOBA guys and stuff like that. But then you, like, move into smaller segments of, like, okay, you're playing, like, basketball on your computer, you know?
Yeah.
Or you're playing fighting games with a stick on your computer.
Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever known sports gamers to be PC gamers. Like,
right.
When you think about it, sports gamers are generically console gamers.
Right. But they still release a lot of these titles on PC.
Yeah, even though I mean, I've seen FIFA.
Yeah.
I've seen, like, some soccer, football games on PC.
Football, yeah.
But I don't think I've ever seen any, like, a broad spectrum of PC gamers to be sports gamers. That's
I know.
kind of interesting.
The only sports games that are really, I guess, big on PCs are driving games.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a loose term for sport. I mean,
yeah, I've seen a lot of driving games on PC, but
right. So I mean that's the only kind of sports simulation kind of thing that gets out there. Like, I'm sure more people have played Euro Truck Simulator than have played NBA 2K14.
Yeah.
You know,
so
and both of them are on PC.
I guess this episode's going to be about Oculus Rift and consoles. So
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
just a little bit
open discussion.
Yeah,
I've got the Twitch chatter involved here, so yeah, I don't know. It's I like consoles for, like, a couch gaming experience with friends, with controllers and stuff like that.
He's a really big couch gamer. He really likes the couch game ecosystem.
Yeah, I've put together, like, my own couch games for PC. And I specifically targeted ones that were, you know, like, $15 or less, you know, run on multiple things, can be streamed via Steam. So I've got, you know, a PC, and then in the same network, I have, like a lesser PC just for streaming set up in front of a couch, and I've got 4, Xbox controllers, because they're PC controllers too, set up there, and you can just get your buddies together, sit on the couch, and play that. Any game you want, really, just from the couch.
Yeah, what he does is he takes one computer, plugs in 4 controllers to it, and then basically plays it like a console.
Yeah.
So
and with Steam Big Picture, it's a pretty decent experience. You got MOBAs, because you don't really get too much of that on. I think there's only been like 1 or 2 for consoles. That Middle Earth one, which was nice for a console, but just didn't take off.
Yeah.
But you got your MOBAs. You got funky games like Goat Simulator is multiplayer. That was funny. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can get a bunch of titles for under, $10-15. You're spending, $60 on one console game that maybe you can play 2-player.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about the consoles, both Xbox. See, I've never really been much of a versus kind of guy when you look at the consoles, because they both play games at almost the same settings. At this point, they both cost almost the same.
Right.
But one thing that the consoles this generation do is only two controllers, 2 players. Like, when was the last time you went out and bought 4 Xbox One controllers?
Yeah.
Or 4 PlayStation 4 controllers?
Right.
Games this generation are only supporting 2 players most of the time. There's the rare, like maybe the arcade games are supporting 4 players, but both consoles are only supporting 2 players on one console at a time.
Yeah.
Some of the games that support 4 players, they're on 4 consoles.
Yeah.
Which is like baffling to me, but
well, the other thing is like, so say I don't do the streaming thing. Say I actually have a computer, like a full-blown like media center gaming PC kind of thing set up under the TV, and if I want to play 4 players on a 4K screen and they've all got 1080p per player, I can do that. So if I'm playing like a Wii U game, which is good for 4 players, then they're getting 1080p split up 4 ways, where I'm giving everyone on the screen a 1080p screen of their own because it is 4K.
yeah.
You just cannot do that on the console. So if I want to play multiplayer, I can give every single person a 4K screen, give them a 1080p screen, excuse me, and then give them a controller in front of them, and that's the game. And they're not going to have like weird blurry HUDs. They're not going to have like, I can't see, more than 20 feet ahead of me in game, stuff like that.
Yeah. The render distance is an issue that consoles don't really do very well.
Yeah. But, I don't know.
Right. And his comment basically is I don't quite understand it completely. I kind of understand that like a PC game you could play on Clan Treasure. I don't know. I don't understand your comment.
Oh, he's saying that he's agreeing with the PC game stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like I understand that like a PC is a game that you can play to expletive deleted.
Yeah, that's
on people with your clan, and just try to do UMG or MLG PC is really something you can stay up longer playing and better prices. Games
game prices is something that
right. Steam sales are what makes PC games like stay alive, really.
Yeah.
The fact that you can get a PC game for not $60 is really nice.
There's PC games for
free. I mean, you could play an entire you could make your entire PC gaming experience Team Fortress 2, Dota 2, Warframe,
League of Legends,
War Thunder. If you wanted, you could just be a World of Tanks guy. I don't care. You could just do free to play games, not spend a dime ever.
Honestly, Lotro, I just played the free experience of Lotro is pretty decent too. Like level 30, you can get to. I mean, as far as time is concerned, you can play. It takes a while to get to level 30 in Lotro for a free experience. It's not half bad.
Do they still do free trials? Is
Yeah.
it two-week free trial?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that's that's the cool thing about some of the free-to-play models that you just don't get on console. Like you're already shelling out $60, and then they want you to pay for DLC.
There is a few of those games on console, but I don't know if the free
just in the marketplace kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, there's some of those games that are free to play, like DC Universe, but I don't know if you can get that game on console for free.
Yeah. So
I agree with you. Warframe on the console was terrible, which sucked because I had already played it on the PC, and then going to the console version, you're like way less content, and it was a bad experience. But I agree with that. It was not a great game.
Did Total Biscuit do a port on
Warframe?
On Warframe?
I don't know.
What does Total Biscuit do reports? Is that Escapists?
I don't know. Probably Escapists. I don't watch a lot of Total Biscuit.
Oh, okay.
Only occasionally. The only Escapist stuff I watch is
the really quick ones, right?
The Zero Punctuation.
Yeah.
So, but all right, I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. Follow the stream if you're not following it. Also, go to our YouTube channel. We're going to be posting this in the morning as our morning show. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Follow us, and that's basically it.
Yeah. Have a good one.